So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, how to save battery life on your iPhone. I want to do another update before the end of the year because, Apple is going to be ending that $29 battery replacement. So we're going to talk about that towards the end of this video, but we're also going to talk about some common battery questions like, should I charge the iPhone overnight, or should I be changing my battery? What capacity should I start worrying about this? So I'll answer those at the end of the video, but let's get into the tips on how to save battery life on your iPhone December 2018. Okay guys, so the first battery tip here is to turn off raise to wake. So we're gonna go to settings here, and in display settings, so we're gonna go to display settings, we're gonna turn off this raise to wake. Now, this constantly triggers sometimes when you're not even paying attention. It could be in your pocket, and if you move a certain way, the screen could be flashing on or off, and you won't even know that this is happening. So I do recommend turning off raise to wake as my first tip on how to get better battery life for your iPhone. My next tip is you might want to manage your location services. You can turn them off altogether, but that would not be a permanent solution, as sometimes we need location tracking for like GPS if we do want to have, accurate maps, or it's not even going to work. So I would recommend that you go in here and turn on never on all the applications in your list if you haven't done this maintenance already. On apps you're not going to be needing the location to be tracking you on here. Like if it's not maps, like why would you need, for example, the Apple Store to be tracking you? You don't really need this unless you're trying to, find a store in your area. If you're just looking at Apple products, you might not need that on. So you can go ahead and turn them off. If you want to save a lot of battery life, but you really don't need any GPS tracking or any location tracking, turn it off altogether and you will get much better battery life than, just going through these. Turning it off altogether really will save you some percentages there. So the next tip is going to be turning off vibration on ring and silence. So we're going to go back into settings and we're going to find our sound and haptics. In sound and haptics, you're going to notice vibrate. These might both be on. Turn both of these off. Now you won't have the haptic vibration, but this actually drains battery. So if you turn both of these off and you just resort to just a ringtone, which can be still enough to alert you about your notification, you can save a significant amount of battery life right there. So that's the next tip at number 3, is to turn off vibration haptics. Okay, so at number 4 is to make sure your Wi-Fi is turned off when you do leave an area where you already were on Wi-Fi. So like if you're at home and you have your Wi-Fi on, make sure to turn this off before you go out. Also, check to see if your AirDrop is on as well. This one hides in this little control toggle right here. So if you hold down, you might not be paying attention to it. This could be eating through your battery life as well. But the one with the Wi-Fi is it'll be constantly scanning if you have it on when you're out. So I would turn that off. Now that doesn't fully turn it off. You actually have to go into settings here to actually turn off Wi-Fi fully to get the full effect. So we're gonna go into Wi-Fi here and turn it off when you do go out, because it's going to be constantly scanning, draining your battery life. So this is a huge tip right here, and I save a lot when I do remember to do this, and even I sometimes forget, and when I do, my battery life definitely suffers because of that. So at number 5 is to use low power mode, but also to add it to your control center. So you can see right here, I don't have it added on the XR, which is actually in effect not very efficient. So because I have to go into settings and find it. When it's in control center, you could easily toggle it. So we're going to go into control center right here and then go to customize controls and locate the low power mode. So you can see right there, we're just going to hit the little add icon, and then the iPhone XR will now have the low power mode enabled right here. So we click that and now you have low power mode on, and this one is huge. This app right here alone, or this little feature, low power mode, saves me at least 1 to 2 hours daily on the iPhone. So my next tip for saving battery life on your iPhone has to do with free applications that have a lot of adverts in them. So try to avoid using them too much. Like for example, if you got a free game and it has ads popping up in there, or obtrusively, other free apps do that, this can be in effect draining your battery quite a bit. So watch the applications you install. If you're installing lesser known apps with not as much popularity that have been refined and the ads are popping up all over the place, that can be a huge drainer. So watch out for those on your iPhone. So at number 7 is going to be background app refresh. So let's go into settings here and go into general, locate background app refresh. And in here, you can either choose to turn it off all the way, or you can go through each application and manage it for better battery life. Some of them you might want on. Like for example, I do want the weather channel on because I don't want to have to manually refresh the weather every time I go in there. But there's no way that I need B&H Photo background app refreshing. I'm not shopping all day long, so I don't need it doing that. So you can either go through these, and if you want to get ultimate battery life and you want to do everything manually refreshing yourself, you could just turn it off altogether. But do remember, if you turn it off altogether, then you will have to manually refresh everything in every application, but it will save you battery life. So if you're looking for better battery life, that can be an option for you. So at number 8 is going to be to disable Siri suggestions. So let's get out of here and let's go into Siri. So we're going to locate Siri in search right here. And we're going to scroll down until we find Siri suggestions. So you can see right here, Siri suggestions in search, lookup, and lock screen, turn them all off. Unless you really need, Apple's iPhone suggesting you apps that you already are just probably going to scroll to and click anyway. Why do you need it there? You really don't. You can just go ahead and search the application right there if you need it and just go into your apps, in effect, saving battery life, because it's using system resources to constantly remember what applications you use, suggest you things. Why would I want that draining my battery life when I'm just going to go ahead and find it myself anyway? Okay, so the next one is going to be to disable the QR scanner in the camera settings. So we're going to go back to settings, go and locate our camera settings. Give me a second here. Scroll down until we find camera, and we're going to go ahead and disable that QR scanner because that thing lives there and it's turned on. And every time you open the camera application, the QR scanner is actually looking for QR codes using system resources. So turn that one off unless you definitely are going to be scanning a bunch of UPC codes, which I'm highly doubting most of you are doing frequently. When you need it, turn it back on. But why you need it on, draining resources every time you open the camera when you're not using it? You really don't. So that's going to be number 9 for how to save battery life on your iPhone. Okay, guys, so for number 10 is going to be to disable push data in settings. So we're going to go here and we're going to locate passwords and accounts. It should be right under where it says Wallet and Apple Pay. Click that right there and you could see fetch new data. We're going to put these on manual. Now, this does mean that you will have to manually select and check for your own updates in your own Gmail or your own mail applications, but all it takes is a quick refresh for you to get that. You don't have to be using up, some battery right here when you could just do this manually. So that right there actually will save you quite a bit of battery life on your iPhone. So do consider doing that if you want to get better battery life for your iPhone. Okay, guys, so that's it. Those are my 10 tips on how to get better battery life on your iPhone closing out 2018. That is not all of them. So if you want to see more tips, be sure to be subscribed for more iPhone battery tips coming shortly to your inbox. But we have a couple of questions I want to address here in this video. Should you be charging your iPhone overnight? And my recommendation is it's not really going to hurt it too much, but I wouldn't do it due to trickle charging. So when the iPhone does reach 100%, the battery cycles will start to diminish a little bit if you leave it charging all the time overnight. It's going to take a long time for this to happen, but it's constantly going to be trickling at 100, coming down a little bit, coming back up, and just to keep it at 100. So I definitely wouldn't recommend charging overnight if you can possibly avoid that. But it's not really going to hurt your iPhone if you're only keeping it a couple years. But for those people going 5 years, try not to be charging overnight every single night. And lastly, I want to address, when should we worry about our battery percentage? So if we go into battery settings here on the iPhone, a lot of people see this battery health, and mine's at 100 right now in A+, but they see it at 92, 93, and they start worrying. Well, I actually had my battery replaced at Apple, and they claim that once you get around 85 to 83, you should start considering a battery replacement. Typically, I think once you're under 90, the iPhone starts showing worse battery life no matter what you do in terms of tips. So right now, the Apple battery replacement program is still $29 till the end of the year. If you don't get it, it's going to go up to 60 or 69, something like that. Maybe more, correct me if I'm wrong. So if you are anywhere under 90, I would definitely recommend going and getting a battery replacement before the year is up at that cheaper price. So do remember that there's only 15 days left in the year or so. So you might want to go do that if you're under 90 on your battery health. So that's it. That wraps it up here for me on how to save battery life on your iPhone December 2018. Brought to you by the iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone XR. Links to these phones down below in the description area of this video. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, click that like button for me. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.